You're listening to the new WXBR, the Metro South Morning Show. Peter Czymbor and Mike Pava here with you on a Friday morning. Tonight at the Comcast Center in Mansfield, it's the 2013 Unity Tour featuring 311, Cypress Hill, and G Love and Special Sauce. And now joining me on the telephone to talk about it is Nick Hexum, the guitarist and vocalist for 311. Nick, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Nick, first off, congratulations. You are the only member of 311 cool enough to have their own Wikipedia page.
Right, I did not know that.
Well, you know, now you know. You learn something new every day. That's how I do my prep for radio interviews. Nick, you guys playing at the Comcast Center tonight along with Cypress Hill and G Love and Special Sauce. You guys haven't released a studio album since 2011. With it being the summer of 2013, it's got to be incredibly convenient and cool for you that 311 has a fan base that can sustain you guys touring despite the fact you guys don't have an active album and single out on the radio. You guys really got some cool fans.
Yeah, you know, we're very fortunate, and we've decided a few years ago, maybe 7-8 years ago, we said, okay, we're a touring band, and that's what we're going to do. That's the most important thing, and we'll work albums around that. But tour every summer no matter what, and we do, you know, a special event in the spring, whether it's 311 Day or the cruise, and you know, it's worked out great. Maybe this shows are a little bit bigger when we have an active single, but still our fan base is so awesome that a year like this one, which is an off-cycle year, we're still doing just fine.
Now let's talk about 311 Day for a moment. For those who don't know, 311 Day is a day that comes every few years, March 11th. Very fitting. The band 311 does a marathon, sometimes a double, triple marathon of a set in New Orleans, which catalogs your music dating back to your very early days in the 90s up until present day. How difficult is it for you as a band to come up with what you're going to put in your set list, considering the vast variety of material you guys have recorded through 10 studio albums?
Yeah, you know, it takes a lot of preparation. You know, just because you wrote them doesn't mean that you can just play them at the drop of a hat. You got to rehearse and kind of relearn parts. But the muscle memory is there. It comes back pretty quick. But you definitely have to go review stuff in order to put, you know, a 60, 70 song set or couple of sets together. We had spread 311 Day into 2 shows. The last time we did it was in Vegas. This next time it's just going to be one day, one big day on the actual day of March 11th, which is a Tuesday. And people had been asking for it to come back to New Orleans for a while. It's where it started. And so it's making its triumphant return.
Once again, we're chatting with Nick Hexum of 311 here on WXBR, playing at the Comcast Center in Mansfield tonight alongside Cypress Hill and G Love and Special Sauce. Also have their 311 Day forthcoming in New Orleans, early portion of 2014. Nick, when you guys play 311 Day, two-part question. Is there any song that the band collectively has rediscovered that you guys had forgotten about that you enjoyed playing? And is there any song that you guys have gone back through your catalog, tried to learn again, to try to play and say, you know what, this really isn't as good as we thought it was when we first recorded it?
Yeah, we have definitely had both of those experiences. Going back to our pre-major label days, there's songs that we hadn't played in a long time that when we brush those off, we're like, man, this rocks. You take a song like Slinky or Down South, these really old songs, and then it's fun when we haven't played them for a couple of years. Like, wow, we were onto something back there in the late '80s when we were writing that stuff. The band started in 1990. Some of those songs actually go back to a previous band called Unity that me and Tim and Chad had, but. And then, on the flip side of that is when we were getting ready for the cruise early this spring, we brushed off a song called You Get Worked. And after we got done playing it a couple times, we were like, you know what, let's never play that song again. That is not happening.
Now, what is it about your band that allows you guys to venture out and try these non-traditional methods of playing shows, whether it be an entire day, seemingly going through the band's entire catalog, or doing something as unique as a cruise? Because you guys, despite the fact that you've been around for a while, still relatively young, in my opinion, to be doing the cruise. You guys aren't exactly Barry Manilow. You guys must have a pretty fun time doing shows like that.
Yeah, it's something that, we just kind of stumbled into because first 311 Day just started that we happened to have a show on March 11th many years ago, and so we turned it into a special show. We said, we're going to play 3 hours and 11 minutes tonight. And then once we started, that became a tradition. People started traveling from all over the country. So the whole, mixing, tourism and making a destination just kind of happened gradually, and then we realized that we had it was a special thing. People need vacation, so why not have our own cruise? And mixing music and a destination, and our music on the high seas on the boat was just a great time this past spring. And so it's something we plan to continue doing because it's worked out great.
Once again, we're chatting with Nick Hexum of 311 here on the new WXBR. When you guys first did that 311 Day, and the idea was to play for exactly 3 hours and 11 minutes, when you guys got to that 3 hour, 9 minute part of the set, and the crowd starts chanting for an encore, what do you do?
Oh, man. Well, I suppose that there will always be people wanting more, and you don't want to completely satiate every last thing. You got to leave them wanting a little more. But
it's the old Jerry Seinfeld philosophy, right? Leave them wanting more.
I guess so, but we do make sure that they get more bang for their buck than most bands when you consider, the ticket prices and the amount of songs and everything. We always make sure it's a great experience for not a lot of money.
We're chatting with Nick Hexum of 311 here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. Nick, you mentioned that 311 has been around since 1990. It's now 2013. You guys have been going for almost a quarter century at this point. When you take a look at all the different music that has come and gone during your tenure as an existence as a band, whether it be grunge, pop punk, rap metal, which was huge towards the tail end of the 1990s. Why is it that your band, seemingly, which does incorporate certain elements of some of the genres of music I just mentioned, why is it that you guys are able to navigate through all of that and still survive and come out with flying colors after a lot of those trends have come and gone?
Well, just lucky, I guess. It's tough to say. A lot of it is, first, you just have to thank the fans that we have such a wonderful fan base that, follows everything we do, whether or not it's necessarily embraced by the, media as a whole. But I think, we just have a commitment to working really hard to put on the best shows that we can and keep the music exciting and innovative. And, we stay grateful. We don't take anything for granted. And we just put a lot of work into it, but definitely there is an amount of luck involved.
You're originally from Nebraska. What kind of music scene was there in Nebraska coming up? Because that's not exactly where I would pigeonpoint 311 as being from when I initially hear your music.
No, it's true. Before us, most people hadn't really heard of any kind of music scene, and it was definitely a small scene, but there was a little bit of everything. We used to go down to little independent record stores and buy, ska records and reggae and punk and Latin and hip hop and everything that was going on. And then there was those kind of bands playing all ages shows, and the crowds were really good. They would go crazy to our band just like they would when a national act would come to town. So it was a really great launching point for us. I know that up-and-coming bands, say in L.A., has a lot harder time getting people to come to the shows because there's, you can go and see a huge name at the House of Blues and you need to get a night of the week. So Omaha was a really great place for us to be from, and a good launching point for us. And it also, like, geographically, we were right in the middle of the country, and musically, we were also kind of reaching, punk rock from Los Angeles, hip hop from New York, Jamaican music. We were in the middle of music geographically and also stylistically. We were just kind of a big center point for all those styles.
So the market wasn't exactly oversaturated with music in Omaha, Nebraska, and that worked to your benefit when trying to gain exposure in the early days?
I think so, and the other benefit of Omaha is that, there was definitely it's known for a strong work ethic. People don't expect things to come to them. They expect to work hard. And so, we had that kind of attitude as well, that if we work really hard, good things will happen.
Once again, we're chatting with Nick Hexum of 311 here on WXBR, playing the Comcast Center in Mansfield tonight, along with Cypress Hill and G Love and Special Sauce. Nick, you mentioned earlier that 311 at this point is a touring band. You guys like being on the road. However, with that being said, you guys are working towards a new album to come out in the early portion of 2014. What can you tell us in regards to what you have in the works for next year?
Well, we have completed writing a fantastic 13-song new collection of music, and we pre-produced it, so we made demo recordings of it, and then we'll go and record it for real as soon as we get done with this summer tour, and then we are going to put it out in spring of next year. We are announcing, maybe now for the very first time, that we are going to do our best to put it out on 311 Day, March 11th.
Well, I'm sure that will coincide rather nicely. We've been chatting with Nick Hexum of 311 here on WXBR, playing the Comcast Center tonight in Mansfield alongside Cypress Hill and G Love and Special Sauce. That's going to be a lot of fun touring with those guys. I can't imagine that ever getting dull.
Yeah, really great guys. We've toured with each of them before, so it's kind of like a reunion tour, and just really great vibes, and both bands really get the party going. So it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of dancing, a lot of partying.
Well, we'll be looking forward to the show tonight. We'll be looking forward to the new album coming out in the early portion of next year. We'll be looking forward to 311 Day in New Orleans on March 11th, and perhaps the album coinciding with that 311 Day. Nick, thank you so much for joining me here this morning.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. We'll see you soon.
That's Nick Hexum of 311 joining us here on WXBR. We'll step aside for a quick break. When we return, Mike Pava joins us with the WXBR newsroom with a local news update. Stay with us.